अब सडनली अभी फंडिंग ड्राई अप हो गई है, किन के लिए ड्राई अप हो गई है? यू टेल मी वन, अभी लेंस कार्ड ने 500 मिलियन रेज करा. द मारवाड़ी माइंडसेट यू कैन कोरिलेट टू द MSMEs of India. There is no glamour. All these startups have come in the next last 10-15 years. So how was the country running before this? I feel MSMEs, they are the unsung heroes. UPI was launched, they did not go to the top founders offices and installed over there. They went to the kirana stores, they went to the traders and all these. So what happens at MSME? You use traditional forms of financing, either bank loan, business loan, family loan. When can you afford the interest? When your business is profitable. If you take money that you have to pay back, then you will make sure that you will make your business so efficient that reaps profit. So when people say that you have lot of courage, you have lot of daring, people don't realize that it was not a choice. If you are starting off as a businessman, you have nothing to go back to, you have no funds, you have no fallback plan, you have no business degree that will get you a job, then what will you do? You will give your 1000%, forget 110%. In today's world, we need groceries 10 minutes, we need food 30 to 45 minutes. For relationships, you just have to swipe right. People are used to getting things instantly. Same thing comes in business, same thing. If you're doing things, you don't get it instantly, what will you do? Good things come to people who are patient.
Founder of India's #1 Burmese restaurant. In today's podcast, we had Chirag, founder of Burma Burma, traditional Marwadi businessman who talked about building a profitable business from scratch. So if you are somebody who's interested in becoming an entrepreneur or a dhandewala, this podcast will fix your mindset. नहीं बट अभी तो फंडिंग मार्केट की काफ़ी बुरी हालत.
एक्चुअली मेरा थोड़ा अलग व्यू है इस पर. अगर आपका बिजनेस प्रॉफिटेबल है, आप स्केल कर पा रहे हो, रिटर्न दे रहे हो, तो पैसे की कभी शॉर्टेज नहीं होगी. लोगों के पास पैसे सरप्लस है. आई टेल यू व्हाई. फंडिंग कम हो गई है तो पैसा तो इतना ही जनरेट हो रहा है, डिप्लॉय नहीं कर पा रहे, तो दे के नॉट रैशली सॉर्ट ऑफ डिप्लॉय मनी एनीवेयर. पर अच्छा बिजनेस आएगा, प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस आएगा, तो फिर पैसे की कोई शॉर्टेज नहीं है. आई एम नॉट वरीड अबाउट द मार्केट एट ऑल बिकॉज दे आर प्रॉफिट मेकिंग कंपनी.
नहीं 100%.
सो दैट्स व्हाई आई कैन नॉट कनेक्ट विद सो मेनी पीपल जहाँ पे प्रॉफिट की बात ही नहीं होती.
हाँ, बात ही
तो
थी हमारी
ग्रोन अप सीइंग प्रॉफिट तो पहले चाहिए. बिना प्रॉफिट के तो कैसे काम, मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई बेटा अपने फादर के पास जाए और बोले कि मुझे बिजनेस करना है, और बोलोगे कि ये लॉस मेकिंग है, मैं इतना बर्न करूँगा, वो कभी भी फैमिली का अप्रूवल नहीं मिलेगा और उसे डिस्करेज करेंगे. बट टुडे द होल गेम, आई फील, इवन आई एम ट्राइंग टू थिंक, जब प्रॉफिट की बात हो रही है, लॉट ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स दे हैव प्रायर नो एक्सपीरियंस, डायरेक्टली वो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में चले जाते. बिजनेस एक्सपीरियंस नहीं, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट वर्क एक्सपीरियंस. कोई भी प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस में आप काम करोगे ना, देन यू नो दैट प्रॉफिट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सीधा आपने कोई अच्छा प्रोडक्ट बनाया और आपने फंडरेज कर लिया, तो कहाँ क्या बात होती है? स्केल की. क्या बात होती है? डिप्लॉय कैसे करोगे, कितना एक्स ग्रोथ हो. कोई प्रॉफिट की बात करता है डे वन. तो इट इज़ मतलब जॉइंट प्रॉब्लम है. अब सडनली अभी फंडिंग ड्राई अप हो गई है, किन के लिए ड्राई अप हो गई है? यू टेल मी वन, अभी लेंस कार्ड ने 500 मिलियन रेज करा, तो फंड्स तो रेज हो ही रहे. हमने तो अभी रेज करा 3 महीने पहले, 4 महीने पहले क्लोज किया, तभी भी तो विंटर चालू हो गया था. वॉट एवर द फंडिंग विंटर देयर सेइंग, तो शुरू हो ही चुका है.
इट्स फंडिंग विंटर फॉर द, मतलब जो एक फैड वो चल रहा था ना कि आप प्रोडक्ट बना लो, उस पर फंडिंग उठा लो, आइडिया पे पैसे डाल देंगे. बहुत लिक्विडिटी थी, सो रैंडम आइडियाज पे पैसे जा रहे थे. वो नहीं हो रहा है.
आई कैन नेवर रिलेट टू व्हेन फाउंडर्स हैव टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन कि कितना रनवे है, नहीं तो आप बंद हो जाएगा. तो मैंने बोला देयर इज समथिंग फंडामेंटली रॉन्ग विद दैट बिजनेस. तो देयर हैज टू, मतलब
सस्टेनेबिलिटी
नहीं. देखो 2-3 थिंग्स, इट इज बेसिक fundamentals of business is the same since thousands of years. If you're doing a business, either it's barter, you need to make a profit in barter, or there has to be exchange of money. और आप कभी भी सिंपल चीज़ है, आप ट्रेडिंग भी कर रहे हो, आप ये 100 रुपये की चीज़ लेके 80 में तो नहीं बेचोगे. 101 में बेचोगे, 102 में बेचोगे, 110, 120, जहाँ भी बेचोगे. तो प्रॉफिट तो करना ही है. ओके, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड शॉर्ट टर्म में 1 क्वार्टर 2 क्वार्टर आपने प्रॉफिट कम किया, कॉर्पोरेट एक्सपेंसेस बढ़ा दिए, बट उसके बाद तो टर्न अराउंड होना चाहिए. 10, 12, 15, 20 क्वार्टर का प्लान है प्रॉफिट, उसके बाद शायद आ जाएगा. तो मतलब देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग एट एवरी स्टेज. फाउंडर लेवल,
फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल्स, यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स मेक सेंस नहीं करती है.
प्रॉफिट फाउंडर लेवल में इशू है. फिर जो फंड्स है वो लोग जो मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं वहाँ इशू है. प्रॉफिट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट्स व्हाई वी रेज कैपिटल इन आवर 9th year of operation. And we raised when we needed to just scale up. Matlab, we didn't raise in 2020 or 2021 where we need rescue capital to get out of COVID. We did not raise that.
Yeah.
As a business, ups and downs sab aate. We should be, business should be so robust that you should be sort of able to cope up with such things. अब कोई भी MSME है, everybody coped pretty well. कहीं बंद भी हुए तो robust नहीं थे. So that's how business should be. कोविड में जाके लोग रेस्क्यू कैपिटल ले रहे हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ तो इश्यूज है, irrespective of the sector.
Correct.
Tourism was bad, but now it bounced back really well. तो जो भी 6 महीने 12 महीने sustain नहीं कर पाया, then that time you have to pivot. Like हम deliveries पे focus हमारा बढ़ गया था. So
नहीं, मेक सेंस. और आपने बताया प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ बिजनेस आर यूजुअली सेम, राइट? उसके बारे में बताओ, मतलब फंडामेंटल क्या सेम होते हैं, लाइक टॉप 2 3 4 5 थिंग्स विच यू थिंक टुडेज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स ऑफ दिस फंडेड कंपनीज लैक apart from the profit mentality.
You're aware of my background. Average student in school.
Yeah.
Went to NM college 2 years, undergrad 11th and 12th. Then I went to Melbourne for my undergrad.
Yeah.
Decent business school. Came back and started working. So nowhere I was IIT, IIM, top of the class, nothing. But I always from day one I realized that I'm not brilliant at anything, at one particular thing. So one thing that will work for me is work ethic and consistency. You don't have to be brilliant one day and then do nothing for 4 days, then be brilliant for 2 days. In my opinion, better than that is you be consistent 300 days a year. That will yield much better results. So, I joined my father's textile business. I studied something that had nothing to do with textile. I feel the education that I got was to, develop skills, analytical skills, negotiation skills, and just basic all-round skills. And when I joined business, then I had to learn. I learned for a year, learned the basic fundamentals of the textile business. And by the time I started our restaurant journey, I had been in the business for about 5 years. So when I started the restaurant business with my co-founder Ankit, he was from a restaurant background, but I had absolutely no knowledge of the restaurant industry. But my business fundamentals were clear. So why do you do business? How do you do business? What should be the expectations? What should be the process? What should be the system? That was clear. So basic fundamentals of business is the same. You have to work towards making a profit. There has to be transparency in terms of accounting, and you have to make an infrastructure that will enable you to run a business. Like if I were to give you a small example, there has to be an accountant, there has to be an external auditor, purchase, sale, stock. And then you have to make monthly, quarterly, or biannually, annually balance sheets, profit and loss statements. That's how you are aware. You learn. If you keep these processes in place, you're making a monthly profit and loss statement that will help you analyze what you're doing right, where you're going wrong, you improve, and that's an ongoing process. So when we started the restaurant business, Ankit got the restaurant expertise, and I got the business expertise, and I've always been a dreamer, ambitious, and I would not say I have a big vision, but I like to think very broadly, like how can we make this big? So that is what I've always worked towards achieving. So basically we put business fundamentals on. We got a CA right from day one. Because when this thing grows up, we wanted to build a clean business that one day we would be able to get private equity or take it to the next level, do it the proper way, not sort of, because as you very well know, for Marwadis to get money from friends and family is not difficult.
Yeah.
It's not difficult, it's very common now. But from the day one, I had that vision that one day that we will get outsider money, and our books and house has to be in order. So I sort of recognized this in 2013.
Wow.
And we that's when we incorporated our company in 2013 September, and we went to the market to raise money in 2022, March, and we closed around before last Diwali. So if we wouldn't have done that, then we would have had a very difficult time during the due diligence if our systems and processes and our accounts were not in order. So that's where we laid the foundation, and now for us it was very easy transitioning from a privately founder-held company to having outside investors and people on our cap table. So coming back to fundamentals of business, we work towards getting profit. Our food cost in our category is one of the lowest in the country.
Yeah.
Where industry standard is 30%, we pride ourselves that we are around the 22-23%. So that sort of enabled us to be profitable and at the same time grow organically, because the business was making money and we were growing organically, fine-tuning the product. And now this is the first year where we'll have extraordinary growth, where we would be more than doubling our number of stores by end of the year.
Right.
So like I said, so now that the business fundamentals has worked for me, that I learned in textile has worked for me in restaurants, I feel in the future, if I were to be part of any other business, could be the creator economy, could be the media economy, could be anything. I feel business fundamentals remain the same. Of course, I have to work 3 to 6 months to sort of correlate and just
Get the
update
context.
it. Yeah. Just get context right, correct.
Yeah. There are two approaches, right? Like if you look at both of us, you have the approach 1 and I have approach 2. Your approach is you learn the business first. You went to a business school. You spend time with your dad's business and all that. Then you have very good context. The fundamentals was sorted. And then there's approach 2, which is mine, which I have not done any business. My family, they have not done any businesses. I have not gone to business school. I have no idea how to do it. It's just, hands-on, trying, learning. I remember last time I came to your office at night, and then we had a long 2.5, 3 hour discussion, and I was telling you this, that, and you're like, office bana le sabse pehle. So that made me realize that fundamental, lot of it is just common sense जो मैंने लगा दिया, but there's a lot that I still don't know. Right now also I think I'm learning it. Which approach is better? Because sometimes I feel ki, if I would have done that, I would have probably been in a better situation to scale. 0 to 2 kar liya hai, but 2 and beyond is very difficult now for me. That's what I feel.
See, there is no wrong answer to this. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is different. So what I feel is, if I'm not good at something, like you were talking about business fundamentals, I had zero knowledge about fundraising. I had not even seen Shark Tank before I sort of took the plunge. Absolutely no knowledge. So what did I do? I looked around who are good at fundraising, who are experts in their field. I surrounded myself and made a panel of people that would assist me in the fundraise, who are great at their work.
Right.
And then I learned from them. Like, I'm a quick study. I learn very quickly.
Okay.
So that's how, that enabled us to sort of, achieve and accomplish our fundraise goals within a period of 6 to 9 months, which is industry standard, and along with due diligence and everything. So what I feel is, there are two approaches. Either you learn everything, which is very tough, or things that you don't know. You surround yourself with talented people who are good at that particular missing skill set, or over a period of time, like for example, we've already started working on our next fundraise. You would ask me how. So, the compliance part, when we sort of, we realized that there were a lot of learnings. There are so many things that we could sort of, report better. Things we were doing annually, we could, if we were to do it monthly, that would give us, a big edge in terms of corporate compliance. So that immediately after a fund concluded, I got a couple of people on board full time, and I sort of started a task force saying that we could raise a round any time. Our company has to be ready. Earlier we were not doing that. Once I identify or learn something, I make sure I either change, adapt, or find a better way. If you ignore, then there is no learning. Then you're like, if you ignore and procrastinate, okay, we'll cross the bridge when the time comes. That is not how I operate. So now what I've given I've not informed that this is when we'll be going back to the market. I'm like, we should be able to do the due diligence, on a timeline or notice of 30 days. So we are putting everything in order. So I feel in the next 3 to 4 months, we will have systems and processes so sturdy that, whenever I go to the market, whichever investor is coming in, they will have that confidence that, this is a company that values compliance. I mean, what do investors want? Their money has to be safe, the company has to be compliant, and it has to be profitable. Founders have to have a vision. I feel we tick all of those boxes. So I'm not at all worried about the winter in the fundraise and all. As long as there is a plan, we go as per it, we will grow exponentially in the next 5 years. All this mindset, all this shift has happened in the last 12 months.
In your thinking and
thought process, thinking,
and what was
the way we are doing business. Like 1 year ago, we were working out of a 500 square feet head office. So first thing I did when while a fundraise was getting concluded, I sort of built an infrastructure of a 3,000 square feet office where I would get everybody related on one platform. And I got few, before about 6 months ago, our average age in our organization was 27.
Okay.
So what I realized that we have youth. To sort of take us to the next level, now we need experience. So when I went ahead and hired head of HR with 25 years of experience. So a couple of more notable hires with a lot of experience from their field. So again, if you were to ask me, do you want to build a young company or an experienced company? I think extreme of two things is bad. You should have a good mix and blend.
Balance.
So that balance is important. So now the infrastructure that we build, we are good for 30-40 restaurants. So now the question is, some people say once you are at 20 restaurants, then you go build an infrastructure. But I have an opposing view. I'm like, if you have a good infrastructure, when you know things are going to happen, then you can launch better. It's like a rocket launcher. You first build an infrastructure, then you launch a rocket. You don't launch a rocket and then sort of prepare that where will it land. So infrastructure is so important. Efficiency improves, and things that was taking probably longer, like a week or something. If everybody's on the same platform, that lead time can be reduced drastically. So that is my whole mindset of management.
Right. No, I think it comes from a short-term mindset when you talk about infrastructure, but a lot of people don't want to build infrastructure is because first यहाँ पहुँचेंगे फिर ये करेंगे. So basically you have thought about a long-term, let's say 3 years, 2-3 years view का आगे, and then you have built that infrastructure today, right? That's the long-term mindset that you are looking at, which a lot of people don't, or they can't see that.
So I'll tell you something. So I'll tell you, my head office in 2014 started with 1 seat. Okay. I had one person in accounts whose salary I was the salary was very minimum. His half salary I was paying personally because I did not want to put pressure on the company. But as the company grew from 1, we grew to 4 from first it was 1 seat. Like you can say it was a co-working space, 1 seat. From there 100 square feet office, then 100 to 200, 300, 400, 500. Because we were growing organically. We were growing 1 restaurant a year and probably 2 restaurants in a year, then taking a break for a year or so, because that was the need of the hour. Correct. That was not over expansion or just making an infrastructure just for the sake of it. Right. So, but now when our fundraise was getting concluded, I realized that as soon as I have money in the bank, what is the first thing that I will need? I will need people, I will need teams, and I will need to execute our plans in a timely, efficient manner. For that, what do I need? I need infrastructure. That's when I went out and made infrastructure. I did not go out to make infrastructure because we should have a cool office to work out of. Not at all. Yeah. So that's when we made infrastructure, and now we have a 5-year vision. Like any fund that comes in they have to exit in 5 years. So for the next 5 years, all our expansion plan, that need a platform, that need team leaders, they need departments, and things absolutely that are essential, not just fancy things, just hiring for the sake of hiring. Every person, every time has to be valuable, has to be necessary. There's no, because again corporate cost eats into our EBITDA. And again, like I told you from day one, I'm very profit centric. So I don't do anything that is okay. It could be short term, I can take a little bit of loss, but long term that has to give returns that will make up for the short term loss. Like we have corporate expenses in the last 3 months and we've not opened a single restaurant. We are incurring that because in the next 5 months we will have 4 operational restaurants. So that 4 new restaurants. So our revenue will increase by 75%. So when our revenue is increasing, I can't go hunt for people then. I need to make a base. Now we have people on board. For me, execution for the next 3, 4, 5 months will be much easy because I started working on it last November. So it's like chicken and egg theory. What do you do first? So it is very, like I told you, there is no wrong answer to this. It is very subjective to the entrepreneur, to the industry, and your way of working. That's it.
Got it. And I want to go deeper into the Marwadi community culture and all that, because ever since I've grown up, I've seen Gujaratis, Marwadis, Sindhis being the most business-centric people. You know, words like kanjoos ho gaya, ya paisa nahi banega to nahi karega. All kind of these words I've listened. And बचपन में थोड़ा सा तारक मेहता भी देखते थे because my family used to watch it. And थोड़ा देख लेते हैं. So Jethalal was a very, I was always, for some reason, like I like that character because of the, he had an electric shop and he was always business minded, and धंधे के time पे धंधा and all that was his character. How is that culture growing up? Like वो आपके mindset को कैसे affect करता है, and how can like that be scaled up to the whole nation? और entrepreneurs उसी mindset से तो आते हैं, but हाँ उस पे थोड़ा बताओ.
See, I'll tell you, the Marwadi mindset you can correlate it to the MSMEs of India. Okay. There is no glamour. Either you talk about the new age founders, a lot of them are Marwadis also. Yeah. But they are very scale oriented. They are very profit, I'm sure, must be on the agenda, but that is not primary on the agenda. So that is a very different segment. But if you see, all these startups have come in the last 10-15 years. So how was the country running before that? Yeah. So the backbone of a country, like you say, the middle class is the backbone of a country. That's what everybody says. I feel MSMEs, they are the unsung heroes. They are the backbone of the country. Like for example, UPI payments people talk about. They say that it is installed in millions of businesses. They are not startups. They are MSMEs. Where do they install? I mean, when UPI was launched, they did not go to the top founders' offices and installed over there. They went to the MSMEs. Yeah. They went to the Kirana stores. They local went businesses. They were traders and all these with that. So I feel if you were to sort of categorize Marwadis and Gujaratis or business-minded people, they would fall in the MSME categories. MSME could be 100 crore business, could be a 5 crore business, could be a 10 crore business. So what happens at MSMEs? You use traditional forms of financing, either bank loan, business loan, family loan. So if you take which, you have to give it back. Right. So when can you afford the interest? When your business is profitable. Yeah. Otherwise, how will you sustain? 100%. You have to pay it back. So I think that is the whole. If you have to take, if you take money that you have to pay back, then you will make sure that you will make your business so efficient that reaps profit, that gives you profit. Only then you can sort of sustain. Right. Or if you don't take any finance and your day-to-day livelihood depends on that, then of course you need profit. If you're doing business activity, you're buying and selling and accounting and all of that, but end of the day, to run your home, you need money. So we'll make sure you take out money from there. So in a nutshell, if I were to correlate, I would correlate it to the MSMEs, which I feel they are the unsung heroes. I mean, there should be more spotlight, more coverage. We have to celebrate our MSMEs more. Yeah. Rather than we are celebrating companies. There's nothing wrong with that. We should celebrate companies with, that are unicorns or Sunicons, all the new cons that people are sort of talking about. It's good that they are growing. But that does not mean we will only celebrate them. Yeah, 100%. There is enough media out there, enough time where we can balance and celebrate everybody. So that is my view. I'm not sure that's a popular view, and I'm not sure how many people think that way. Yeah. but I'm an outsider being part of a restaurant industry with a textile background. So
No, I think
I'm, not your regular founder. So
नहीं yes इसलिए तो आपको बुलाया कि आप ये पर्सपेक्टिव दो बहुत फ्रेश
Yeah.
पर्सपेक्टिव है टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट लाइक
Yes.
इफ आई सी इन दिस इन माय सर्कल आल्सो कोई रिलेट नहीं करेगा इससे किसी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा बोलेंगे क्या बोल रहा है एमएसएमई कुछ भी एक और चीज़ आपने जो बिना हाईलाइट कर दी वाज द रिस्क टेकिंग एबिलिटी दैट Marwadis and these guys have because if you are taking debt from somebody and running a business you're taking a huge risk. एक तो खुद को ही पैसे कमाने हैं दूसरों को कमा के भी देने हैं that's the first thing and second thing is little bit easier but still risk that you're making your own money self-employment and all that.
Absolutely.
Which I think is not there in the rest of the 80% whatever country because they would want to do study they would want to take a job and they would ideally never want to start a business even if you have money like ये करते रहो safe job रहेगा so ये risk mindset भी बहुत अलग है that you guys have or this community has वो कहाँ से आ रहा है
See, I'll tell you very simple. My father came to Mumbai in early 80s. He was working somewhere
right
in a textile company only. He came here.
you're second generation founder
Yes, I'm second generation. Yeah, I'm second generation in our family business. Yeah, he had absolutely nothing, no fallback plan. So he gave it his everything. He learned, at the job and everything. And when and for whatever circumstance, he decided to go on his own. So when he went on his own, he knew there is no fallback plan. There is nothing to go back to. So when people say that you have a lot of courage, you have a lot of daring, people don't realize that it was not a choice. Like, it's like skydiving. So you need a lot of, guts and that very daredevil attitude. But it's a choice.
yeah
You're going up 15,000 square feet, then you're jumping, and that is a choice. But vis-a-vis, if you're starting off as a businessman, you have nothing to go back to. You have no funds. You have no fallback plan. You have no business degree that will get you a job. Then what will you do? You will give your 1,000%. Forget 110%. And most often, more often than not, things work out. When you give your 100%, you work. You do whatever needs to be done. You don't look at weekends. You don't look at. This was the previous generation. I mean, I don't think the amount of hard work that our fathers did, we come even close. So that's how from nothing, he built a comfortable life in Mumbai, and I feel privileged in a way that I was presented with a platform where my struggles are different. Building a business, taking it to the taking it further, but I did not have to repeat the struggles that he went to.
Correct.
What happens is that every generation starts a new business. They're doing the same struggles.
Yeah.
Just a different generation. So I feel privileged and I value the platform that I was given. So for me, I had just one ambition. I'm digressing. One ambition ever since I was I don't even remember. Probably I was not even a teenager. I just wanted to grow up and be like my father.
Yeah. He was a role model.
That was, people ask people, when I was growing up, people had different ambitions. Some people had interest in medicine. People had, engineers. People were drawn towards marketing. They had research skills. They wanted to do PhD. I was just attracted and fascinated by everything my father did. I mean, even on a Sunday when he sort of just sit on the coffee table, had coffee, had tea, read the newspaper, I was fascinated. I mean, I'm like, I want to do something similar. Just do what he's doing. I was like the fanboy moment that, so when I was 20, I finished my undergrad in about 2 years, 6-7 months. I picked up a couple of summer units. I did winter semester just so that I could finish early and join the work. So I still remember that conversation, when my results came out, and I called up my parents that, my results are out there. They gave me that option, of course, you want to stay back, you
join
do whatever.
The next day.
No, so he said, you can do whatever. You are there, you want to do masters, you want to stay back, you explore whatever. We have full support. So I told them, no, I'm coming back in a week. I'll need 1 week to wrap up everything, and then I'll come home and then I'll join the family business. They're like, you think properly before taking any decision. No, I'm very clear. So I still remember that 2008, 17th Feb, I landed at around midnight.
18th you joined.
18th Feb, I was in office. some important meetings were happening in office.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no head or tail of the meeting. I'm like, I'll be an observer. It's important for my father. It will be important for me in the future. So for 1 year, I was just shadowing him.
Yeah.
Just shadowing him in his meetings as much. So in the evening, if he's having a snack, I'm like, that's the time I will, like, if I'm hungry 1 hour early, no, I'll wait. No, whenever my dad has a snack, that's when I'll eat whatever I want to, but during that same time, so that time does not get I do not want to miss out on any conversation or anything. So that was my mindset. So for me, it was, so that was my journey. So I do not know, I mean, I meet so many of my peers and my friends where they're like, I don't want to take obligation for my father. I want to do something on my own. I'm like, there is no wrong answer. That is their choice. But I feel that for me, it was never a choice. It was a choice, but I was very happy. And in hindsight, when I look back, I know on some level, my father was also happy that I was joining him. He never forced me.
Yeah.
He never even insisted. He gave me that option. But he was happy because of my choice. That's what I feel. And I think those were, I mean, I've been working since 15 years now in the business. I mean, when I was doing undergrad, I worked in a supermarket for 2 years. I learned so many things there. So that is a different story. So I think it is having that clarity is very important. Like I said, there's no wrong answer.
Clarity of what? Like clarity of what
do you
want
to do? I mean, people sort of discover what they want to do at 35 also. But for me, I'd like to have clarity what I want to do. When I got convinced about the restaurant business, I went and spoke to my father that this is something that I want to do, where the concept is being developed by my friend, and I would want to get in the business as an investor and of course learn the business and be part of it. He asked me 2 things. Are you very confident? I'm like, I'm not confident. I'm confident, but I'm not 100% sure. With your blessing, I'll go ahead and take the plunge. He's like, if you want to do it, go ahead with it. What is the worst that will happen? Whatever money you're putting, it will become zero. If it succeeds, it opens up a new industry for you. If it fails, you'll have a life learning. So that's how my father put it. It's a win-win situation. So it was not something. So I took the plunge, and I think it has worked out really well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what are some of the qualities, like you talk about your dad a lot, but 3 qualities that you see in him as an entrepreneur, or like, something which made you feel like this is different, like he's different because of this?
If I were to list 3 qualities, is patience, vision, hard work, and perseverance. If he really believed in something, he did not, I think I sort of modeled my mindset around that only. I were to give his example on what I do. If I hit a roadblock on something, if I really want to do it, I will find a way. I will not get...
Bahane nahi maroge.
Yeah, I will not stop. Like, for example, we had, we flirted with the idea of raising a fund, raising a round for us in 2018 because of some inbound interest. That was a first experience. It was a very short exercise just with one person. It didn't work out. So we sort of did not drop the idea. We are like, now we are too small. At that time, we had probably just 2-3 outlets, and we were too small. So when the time was ready, we sort of reignited the idea, and we successfully closed that. So if you believe in something, see, sometimes what happens is, where the problem lies is impatience. If you want something instantly, you don't get it. Like right. Like, to give you an example, in today's world, we need groceries, 10 minutes. We need food, 30 to 45 minutes. We need to book a ticket, 2 minutes. For that, for relationships, you just have to swipe right. So people are used to getting things instantly. Just imagine.
And the fingertips.
Everything. For example, if I were to tell you suddenly, there is this service and product, you have to wait 1 week. What will you say? Not interested. Same thing comes in business. Same thing. If you're doing things, you don't get it instantly. What will you do? Most people, they defer it, cancel it. You have to be patient. Good things come to people who are patient. So patience is most important.
Yeah.
What happens if you're patient? You become angry less.
Angry less when you're patient.
Because see, what happens is, when do you get angry? When things don't go your way. You
Correct.
don't like a certain way. But if you're patient, even if when things are not going your way, what is your first response? Let's be patient, things will work out. So again, you're not short tempered. And what happens is, then you have that clarity, you have that peace of mind. Where is it written that everything you want you will get instantly? Nobody is obligated to give you everything that you need. So you have to be patient in life. We waited 9 years to raise a round. There are certain companies that raise in 2 rounds. So I cannot lose my mental peace that he got it in 2 years. Why did that take me 9 years? Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's story is different. What matters is the end game or the end result. Where will we be in like 5 years from today? Is there forward momentum? Are we growing the right way? Are our fundamentals correct?
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so basically everybody's talking about profit, but we've always been profitable. So these things are important. So patience is absolutely important, which I feel is growing shorter and shorter and shorter. People talk about Gen Z, millennials. I feel even people of all
Yeah.
ages, patience is growing less.
Yeah.
So that is most important in entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that gives you a cool head. You can take decisions better. There is no the impulsive decisions are less. Assertive decisions are important, but you can't be impulsive.
Yeah, I know my team tells that I'm very impulsive.
Yeah.
I need to work
Like I
upon
told you,
that.
there is no
Yeah.
wrong answer.
Yeah,
It
no,
is
no,
just
no, no,
my
I agree.
opinion. Yeah.
I think I believe in impatient with actions and patience with the results.
Yeah.
That should be the way to go.
That's a
Like,
very, very interesting.
be restless. Like podcast name itself
yeah.
is restless. It's not restless with the results. Oh, nahi hai. Like I've been doing content creation for 4 years.
Yeah.
And content creation नहीं चला, business चल गया.
Yeah.
But I'm still patient with
Absolutely.
content. I'm impatient with doing this podcast. Like we've been speaking for 3 months की करेंगे. But we're doing that. I've been impatient with input में impatience होना चाहिए. Output पे you have to be patient.
I agree. So I was just talking to my co-founder Ankit, and I'm going for Restless. He told me that it suits me because I'm patient, but I have to be busy. I have to do something or the other.
Yeah.
Like I have I don't know whether I should be saying it proudly or no. I've not read a single book in my entire life. So why am I saying this? That I can't just sit around for 6 hours and read a book.
Yeah.
I need I could be hearing a podcast. I could be seeing a movie, some documentary. Could be updating myself what's happening in America in some corner. I need to do something or the other that has a positive outcome. So that way, in a lot of ways, I'm also restless. Like I can't 7 days sit in a place and do nothing.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean,
That I've seen.
that is, I don't know whether that's a shortcoming or that
Yeah.
is a missing piece there, but I have realized that, and
Yeah.
I've sort of tried to, like if I'm traveling in a car for about 45 minutes or so, I just connect my phone
Same.
and probably put on some
100%.
TED talk or
Yeah.
listen to music for 15-20 minutes. Where that's a good mood changer, and then probably listen to a podcast or something, because I'm utilizing that time. Like I don't want to sit in office during business hours and listen to a podcast for 2 hours.
Correct.
But when I'm on a flight
Yeah.
where there is lack of anything else, so that's how I'm restless.
No, I agree. In fact, yesterday I was going to play cricket, I was telling you, and
Yeah.
in the meanwhile I was listening to podcasts, and then
Yeah.
Sarthak called, so I chatted with him for 20-25 minutes कि ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है, and
Absolutely.
then learned something. And I disagree, मतलब ऐसे book पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं. Like at the end, the outcome, like it's a good thing, it doesn't matter. Like I have also not been reading a lot of books lately.
Yeah.
I was a avid reader.
Yeah.
But end goal क्या होता है? Book पढ़ के you're learning something new, and then you can apply it. You do that a lot. Like you speak to so many people. You read, as you were mentioning, like I remember the first time we met in BKC itself.
Yeah,
BBJ.
social,
Yeah. And after that we chatted for an hour, and then you knew so much about my industry itself.
Yeah.
Right? So that would have probably come from कि creator economy में एक book पढ़ ली, उससे भी आ जाता. But because you're reading online articles, you're talking to people. That's
One thing to answer your previous question, curiosity is very important.
Curiosity.
Curiosity, I think that's our scientists from yesteryears, they were curious. That's how they sort of develop cures. So I'm very curious about anything to do with business. Like creator economy, I was very curious. People are making careers and people are following them. Advertisers are remunerating them to sort of leveraging their platform, their reach. So I'm very curious. So nowadays we are so lucky. If you're curious about an industry or sector, start following 50 people. And read about them, and that's how in about 6 months you'll have reasonable knowledge about that industry.
100%. I agree.
So that way I'm very curious.
No, I've seen that. You asked me a lot of questions as well, and I also ask you a lot of questions. I think.
I have this very simple. If people are upfront and forthcoming, I ask questions. If I feel that they're uncomfortable, then I'm like, I'm very cordial. Where I feel where there is a relationship, like today when we've had multiple chats before, and when you said, do you want to, will you come to my podcast? I'm like, I've not done this before, and this is not something that I do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I had that also little curiosity. Let's see how it pans out.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
Thanks, Chirag, for being here. You mentioned this word clarity, right?
Yeah.
And I remember even in the TED talk you mentioned that it's just 3 years ago that you had, not even 3 years ago, like at 20 you had clarity of ki business hi karna hai. You could have been in Australia, you could have chilled, you could have made friends, you could have Australia at the end of the day, right? But you had the clarity of leaving Australia in 1 week and joining a business the next day. I don't think I have clarity, but not so much clarity. And a lot of my people, like Gen Z, they don't have any clarity. पता नहीं क्या करना है, कुछ भी random चल रहा है. So what is the how? Like how do you get clarity? How can audience get clarity when they're confused?
See, from a very young age, I'm a teetotaler. So there was never in between. See, what happens, some people say I drink occasionally, then I don't have these patches that I don't drink. It was a decision that I made that I want to be a teetotaler.
Got it.
So that I think clarity started from a very early age. I think when people first time discover alcohol is generally in their teenage years. This also I was reading somewhere. I don't remember to sort of quote the source.
Yeah.
But I had that clarity, that this is one path that I don't want to embark upon. Not that it is wrong or right. It is just my personal choice. So same way, I think if I have to continue that with my decision making process, there are certain decisions that I'm confused about. Of course, that I'm human. But the major decisions, the pivotal moment, that is when I like to believe and make sure that I'm clear. Like when I was getting married, I had that absolute clarity that this is the person that I want to spend my rest of my life with. And I mean, this is a business talk, but since we're talking about decision making process,
100%.
Once I was clear, I asked my wife, now wife, that time when we were sort of getting to know each other better, I asked a point blank, I know I want to marry you, why do you want to marry me? You should have that clarity. There should not be in betweens that I thought this could have happened. So I had that clarity, and I expected that clarity from my partner also. So I think this is something that unintentionally started, subconsciously started from a very early age. So when sort of now when I take decisions, it is either 90% of the times is black or white. 10% you can say there's shades of grey where I have that confusion, or it's an evolving thought that I would circle back at a later date to sort of address it. But there has to be a conclusion. Can't be in between. Okay, can't be odd and even. Certain days I'm thinking that, certain days I'm sort of thinking something else. Then there is no forward momentum. Then you are confused yourself. And if the entrepreneur is confused, people around him are confused.
Yeah. And this comes from vision of knowing where you want to go and taking decisions accordingly.
So I have this mindset when I look at successful people and I look at the skill set. Then I realize that these 100 people are successful with a certain skill set, but there are 10,000 people with a similar skill set who have not been able to make it. What is the difference?
Correct.
So in my opinion, the difference is vision. So if like 10 people went to IIT, 8 people are working for multinational, 2 people with the same skill set, with the same exposure to knowledge, founded companies. So they had a bigger vision. So I feel vision is what differs differentiates entrepreneurs from other people.
Vision mixed with risking ability of taking the
See,
plunge.
what happens is if you have a bigger vision, it's all interlinked. If you have a bigger vision, or you have a vision that grows at a steady pace to be something big someday. You don't have to take a huge step on day one, but consistently work on a path someday that it will become a big business.
And what is the nuance of a vision? Like, can making 100 crore be a vision?
See, I say you should never look at the number.
That's a byproduct.
Absolutely, that's a byproduct. You should be profit conscious but not profit minded. So if you're like, when we started building a restaurant, we had vision of one restaurant. When we opened, we didn't know what it is, what it will be. It did well. We took 2 years to fine tune the product. Then we opened in Gurgaon, another city. When the entire industry said that you master one city, then you go elsewhere. But when you got the opportunity, we are like, nobody's done it before. Not many people have done it before. Does not mean we can't embark on that. We opened that. Because of that decision, our SOPs came into place. Because we are one in Delhi, one in Gurgaon, we can't be in two places at the same time. So what do you need to be successful? You need SOPs. So that happened. After the success of our second outlet, then we realized whether you open 5 kilometers away or we open 1,000 kilometers away, it is the same thing. So that's how our entire trajectory of our company changed because of our one decision of opening in Gurgaon. We had that clarity. We didn't follow the crowd or the herd that, you have to open in one city, you need to have a base and then you master it and then go to another city. Because of that, now we are pan-India. So we are in a very unique position. We had 6 restaurants in 6 cities when we went to this fundraise. Now we'll by end of the year we'll have 14 restaurants in 8 cities.
By end of 2023?
This financial year.
Okay.
Today we are on 1st April 2023. So 2024 end of the financial year we'll have 14 restaurants in 8 cities.
Wow, 2.2x growth in terms of number of restaurants.
So that was that because of clarity in 2016 that paved the way for the next 10-15 years.
Yeah.
So I always feel you should सबकी सुननी चाहिए, करना अपने दिमाग से चाहिए. So that's how you have a choice. You listen to 100 people, 10 people, 15 people, wherever your close circle or people from the industry, but don't do it blindly. Then you will have a similar result to what other people have. If you want to sort of break the barrier, like when we were working on the concept, we spoke to probably 100 people. See, we are doing a vegetarian Burmese restaurant, we are without liquor. 100 out of 100 people said don't do it.
Correct.
You will fail. But, we strongly believe in the product and we realize that product is strong. There is a market for it. Just because other people have not been able to do it, they're advising against it. That does not mean it cannot be done.
Yeah.
And once we sort of did it, and then same people started congratulating us for the vision, for the concept, and for everything. So, see, like I told you, you have to have that clarity in decision making. And see, so many times I may take the wrong decision. You learn from it.
Yeah.
Either you get a positive outcome or you get a life learning. There is no downside to making a mistake. So, yeah, that's how I function.
Interesting. And I'm going to talk about money a little bit.
Yeah.
Not from a sense of money, it's freedom and all that.
Yeah.
But do you think, like, you've already made a lot of money, you're in a comfortable situation, एक point के बाद marginality कम हो जाती है.
Correct.
Right? Like, कितना पैसा चाहिए एक point के बाद? I think 10 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore कर लिया.
रोटी तो 2 ही खानी है.
रोटी तो 2 ही खानी है. As you mentioned, घर हो गया, गाड़ी हो गई, you already have that. So you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Now, is the vision driving you? Or because I know for a fact that, again, from the TED Talk and bunch of articles that I read, that plus being a Marwadi, you have to be money conscious. And पैसे के बारे में आदमी सोचता है. वो एक, I was with a friend last week. He has raised like $8 million, and he was telling me that what you are doing is better than what I'm doing. And I'm like, क्यों? Like, yaar, money corrupts the mind. Like, I have 60-70 crores in my bank account, and I'm not able to think clearly, because the outcome for me would be कि 5-6 साल इतनी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, फिर शायद मुझे बड़ा पैसा मिले. But this $8 million is not mine. But rather than you're making that small tranches and across over a period of time, you'll be in a very comfortable situation. So that stick to me, like money corrupts the mind. How is it that for you? And what is money for you?
See, again, I would disagree with that.
Okay.
Money does not corrupt the mind. Like, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, 10 kids that with me went to school, went through the same journey.
Huh.
I'm a teetotaler.
Huh.
So nothing sort of influenced me. It's a very personal choice. With the $8 million in the bank, there is so much that he can do. So many things, he can do now easily, which were not possible before the fund. It's how you take it. Like after the fundraise, it's not something that we're thinking about, hame to paisa mila hi nahi. It's all growth capital. But we needed growth capital.
Yeah.
We want to build a business that will outlive us. Even when sometime in the future, whether we are part of it or not, it has to be a legacy.
Correct.
The brand has to outlive the founders, not the other way around.
Yes, 100%.
So if that is the vision, money is a luxury and it adds value rather than it being a deterrent and a negative thing. He raised 8 million because he must have had a vision.
Yep.
So corruption is something when, you get insecure that, he's doing that, she's doing that, I should be doing the same. It's not that. Everybody's story is different. You embark on a path, and I would like to say that fundraising, like I like to feel before we went we were an MSME, but now we're using tools that startups use. So we are somewhere in between. I think the new term for that is indie founders, where you're running a profitable business. Profitable business with all the corporate compliances that would be required for a startup, and using their tools to sort of raise money rather than traditional means of bank financing and debt. So I think a cross between the two is a beautiful space to be in. I feel in the coming years, lot of business will be in that category, which I feel is a very new category right now. So you're using money for growth capital. Just imagine you're doing, like we were running a 50 crore business.
Correct.
And now with this money, in a year's time, we'll cross a run rate of 100 crores. And so that exponential growth is only possible because of these modern tools of fundraising, diluting equity. So we want best of both worlds. Rather than, we don't want extreme where we are just one side of the spectrum, but we want best of both worlds. So that way money does not corrupt mind in a nutshell.
Makes sense. It's a good point.
It is how you perceive it and what plan you have. So if I had, next fundraise, if we raise $10 million, I will not feel burdened by it. But before raising that amount, I will have a plan in place. Why am I raising it? And then
Clarity.
I will be executing it. So it will not be a burden, but that would be the enabler to achieve that vision. So money should be an enabler. It should not be a burden.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Use money as a tool to grow rather than thinking of money as a, how do you say that? As something which will end, or like something you need to keep in the bank and
Absolutely.
something like that. That is a difference. Guys, on that note, go check out Burma Burma, go to the restaurant, eat. I love the restaurant. There's no saying that goes behind that.
Please visit Burma Burma. We can promise a unique experience. Taste is subjective, but one thing we can assure you is of good quality and an interesting experience.
Thank you.